Money on my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. You gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. I did miss a week. I know I missed a week. I was house sitting, had a limited setup. I did get a live done while I was over there. For those of you who tapped in, thank you. It was an interesting conversation. I like talking money, so any opportunity that I get, regardless of what angle it comes from, I'm gonna take it. But I did not have the setup. I didn't know how well that was going to go. I still haven't listened to the audio from that show to see how the AirPod Pros or the Air Max Pros worked. Like, I got them right here. I normally use it for the gym, but I'm getting ready to actually get AirPod Pros because I don't like those for the gym as much. I can use them and I can get through the sessions, but it is not as fulfilling as when I had AirPods or my original AirPod Pros that I took to work and lost. I lose so many sets of earbuds at work that I've relegated myself to a $30 spend limit on my work earbuds. But for my home and traveling around, also like when I go shopping, I have these things on. They get super bulky. It's wild. It lets people know I'm not listening, though. So I do like that because people talk to me less. But for all intents and purposes, the AirPod Pros would serve better. But getting through that podcast, the live stream, it seemed like they worked well. I'm gonna have to check the audio on it to see what that was like. But I definitely liked it. I have a different setup, so I might be doing some more recording in some different places because with this as an option, I'll throw those on anytime. It was comfortable setup. It was cool. We were chilling, different background than normal. I was outside. I was out in the breeze. It was nice. So I'm interested to see how that sounded. Want to make sure you guys hit that like on the way in. Also, if you've been here more than twice, I want to invite you to go ahead and formally join the Wolf Pack over here, where we talk bag talk all the time. And hit that subscribe button and turn the bell notification to all on. I do not flood your feed. I do not make videos just to make videos. I have my updates that I do a couple of times a week, Wednesday, Thursday, happy hump day. And then the beginning of the month, we do our updates, which I do hit you every day, first thing in the morning, Monday through Friday. So we got a lot of updating to do. It's life updates, full transparency. We're rocking out on this, my road to a millionaire. I mean, like, we're on the way, $250,000 ain't bad. $250,000 ain't bad. That's not a bad number. It's a nice round number, and it's worth more than most people have for their retirement. So that's awesome. I like it. Yeah. So today we're gonna have a conversation. But before we do that, let's go ahead and bring to the stage. Let's jump into a shout out to CoinGecko. I'm going to pull me down for a little bit before we have this conversation. We got to get through the goods because you guys don't come here to hear my life story. You guys come here to hear me tell you about what I'm doing in these portfolios. So first and foremost, we got to look at it as of the day of our Lord, April 22nd. I'm recording this Tuesday evening. I'm back on schedule, back at my house, back in the hot seat. We are back on running off of our checklist. I got 2 things done before I started this. So this is going to be a triple threat day, maybe even 4 things. It depends on how much time and how long this video takes. But we got some stuff to talk about. First and foremost, Bitcoin's back over $90,000. That is awesome, people. Let's talk about it. Bitcoin's back over 90K. We broke out of the range. Finally. I knew it was coming. I had no lost faith in that. Don't let the title fool you because we are making some strategic moves. We are not skipping a beat or losing a stride. Believe that. Bitcoin back above 90,000. Shout out to CoinGecko for giving us all this wonderful plethora of information. Bitcoin dominance is at the highest I've recorded that we're talking about it, 61.5%. Goodness gracious. Ethereum dominance is at 7.02%. Gas fees are at 0.58 Gwei. You make some transactions on Ethereum. I'm going to be making some transactions on Ethereum probably after this video. I say this every time, but seriously. Moving on to the top trending coins in the last, at the time of this recording. At number 1, we have ArcBlock. At number 2, we have DeepBook. And at number 3, we have Mantra. Moving on to the top 5 gainers and losers. You guys missed out on this for a week, but we have some numbers. We have some good numbers. So let's start it off. At number 1, at rank 596, we have Zerebro with a gain of 155.7% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, we have at rank 151, DeepBook with a gain of 103.1% in the last 24 hours. At number 3, we have at rank 929, the Dark Eclipse with a gain of 70.9% in the last 24 hours. At number 4, we have at rank 626, AI Rig Complex with a gain of 57.5% in the last 24 hours. At number 5, last but not least, at rank 242, we have Turbo with a gain of 57% even. Solid round numbers. I like it when they land on round numbers. Moving on to the top 5 losers in the last 24 hours. Now, this looks like it's just healthy retracements, a little bit of correction, market's booming. You know, maybe it's your entry point. Maybe this is your signal, your last opportunity to buy before the hype trains start running. Take it for what you will. Do your own research. But here we go. At number 1, we have at rank 761. We have Orbiter Finance with a loss of 26.1% in the last 24 hours. At number 2, at rank 811, we have Loom Network, new, with a loss of 24.3% in the last 24 hours. At number 3, we have at rank 1002, Loom Network, the old token, which has had a loss of 22.3% in the last 24 hours. At number 4, we have at rank 504, Rome token with a loss of 18.2% in the last 24 hours. And last but not least, pulling up the caboose of the top 5 losers in the last 24 hours, we have at rank 511, MIL.K with a loss of 15.3% in the last 24 hours. Those are our top gainers and losers. Let's go ahead and jump into these portfolios and have a conversation about what we're doing after we get through our hefty, wefty top 10 over here in the portfolio. Before we do that, we got to give the disclosures, what we do, and we got to look at it and see where we're at. At present, in the last 24 hours, we are up 6.9%. Overall, we are running at a loss, still deep in the red at 23.3%. It's just where we're living. It's what it is. And I'm here for it. So we're going to go ahead and pull this up to the screen. Getting down in here, seeing some green, some bullishness going on. I'm here for it. I'm happy that things are starting to turn around. I gotta go check some stuff because at this point I just look away. Now I gotta go back and see if there's any money to collect, some tokens to move around. We're gonna be making some moves. We're gonna be talking about that after we get through this top 10. So here are my top 10 holdings in my active portfolio. This is not the entire portfolio. This is the part of the portfolio that we got active with. Honestly, we could have waited. We jumped the gun. I did what I do every year. I did what I do going into every bull run. I jumped the gun. I jumped the gun. It is what it is. And here we are. So we're out here duking it out. We're making some adjustments, though. At number 1, we have Solana, SOL. At number 2, we have At number 2, we have Thorwallet Dex, TGT. At number 3, we have Ethereum, ETH. At number 4, we have Wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC. At number 5, we have Radium, RAY. At number 6, we have Superverse, SUPER. At number 7, we have Jupiter Perpetuals Liquidity Provider Token, JLP. It's always a mouthful. Haven't said it a week. When you skip a week, you come back. Now you're stuttering. At number 8, we have Injective, INJ. At number 9, we have Aave, AAVE. And last but not least, rounding out the caboose of our top 10, we have holding on by a thread, Akash Network, AKT. Now, we can get to the conversation. So that's what we've got. Obviously, we still have the Lido staked Ether. We're going to get that transferred over and out of this portfolio, so that way it's no longer showing. Whoa. Let's do that. I had a conversation with AI about my finances. I've taken the upgrade. If you're not understanding, learning, utilizing, and implementing the things that AI is telling you, you are going to start falling behind. You are going to get lapped. The people who have taken the firmware update, which is AI, are just going to start lapping you. It's just the ones that actually act. Now, for me, that's easy. I read books and actually implement the stuff in the books. My life gets better. It's piece of cake. So now that we've been playing with AI, and I've been mulling over, if those of you who follow the channel know that this is Future Financial Strategies. We're doing some different stuff, making some moves financially to get ahead, working as a pretty much basically skill trade, blue collar worker, making wages that they tell you that you're not supposed to be able to do things like own a house, which I do, pay a car off, which I've done multiple times, have a positive net worth, get to $250,000, working towards $1 million, bunch of stuff. But I do understand the need for more income. And so we've been going out, we've been hunting, and we've been getting income because nobody's coming to save you and no one's coming to save me. So we're manufacturing our raises ourselves at this point, which is great, and on the road to, replacing that income. So last year, we gave ourselves a $13,000 raise. I think that raise is going to extend at minimum, because right now it's looking like we're going to be in the $20,000 to $30,000 range. My goal is every year to try to double that. So if I can get to $26,000, that's going to be a win for me, and in conjunction on top of my regular income, adding $20,000. I don't know how many of you guys got a $20,000 raise, but I didn't have to go nowhere. I went out and hunted it down for myself. I didn't have to beg for it. Didn't have to ask for nothing. Didn't expect anybody to come save me. Not saying that that's not a appropriate path, but it's just I don't see a lot of people that are getting $20,000+ raises a year, or even being able to project that they're going to get that. It's just what it is. So the goal is, if we can double this income every year, the goal, that's the goal. But part of that goal is being able to shift all of my living expenses into my income generating portfolio, and then living out of that, but then continuing to work for a little while and just getting to a point to where 100% of my check goes into my income portfolio. So it's just bulking it up. And that is factoring in long-term investments. I am investing in other things. I'm not just indefinitely dripping, which is direct reinvestment plan. That's where when you get paid your dividends, it just buys more of whatever paid you the dividend. I don't believe in that. I think that there is a cost for not doing it yourself. The more people try to be lazy, the less it works out long term. So I'm just going to not get in the habit of doing that starting out. So I've been manually reinvesting. I'll use the drip to a certain extent. Like I'll drip until I get to the income levels that I'm like, hey, this is enough money for me to have a meaningful impact on something else. And then I'll start manually doing it myself. So I used AI, and I spilt my guts because you're talking. And so for me, I identify AI as a her. You're talking to her and you just spill your guts. I just told her the whole situation. I told her what I was holding. Now, I didn't include my Robinhood portfolio because I was like, you're not touching that. But I spilt the beans. I gave her the crypto portfolio, my long-term holdings, what my goals are, what I'm looking to do, what the current debt levels are, my brokerage account. I gave her all the holdings in the Charles Schwab account. The actual big kid account, she got all the information out of that. Gave her my crypto holdings. Told her what I got. She know what I got. I'm old Greg. She know what I got. And we went back and forth all weekend. Like I had an argument with AI. Like we was going back and forth about it. She was on my neck. She was like, hey, this is what you need to do to be more efficient. I'm like, yo, I'm not dumping. And I told her straight up, I was like, I don't want to sell off all my assets and risk the opportunity cost to pay off this debt. So she gave me a plan. And in that plan, she was like, well, I agree with you on not selling off all of your assets. Fine. But what you do need to do to accomplish this in the time frame or faster is what you're wanting. She's like, your crypto that you've been sitting on for a long time, you have like some smaller positions. And she was like, those positions you're technically in profit on, you sell those. In your brokerage account, I don't want you to sell your big income payer, which is Misty. But some of these smaller positions that you just got into, you should probably clip those and take all that cash and just start paying off your credit. Which, I was looking at it today and I was like, well, most of it's in 0%. But the caveat to that is I have a plan. As I pay it off, I can start redirecting more of my check. Because like right now I have a bare minimum, 10% of my check goes into my income account. As we're machine gunning through this debt, for those of you that actually care to talk about debt, we do that on Friday with our Debt Crusher episode, which I also didn't record that. Like I was down 3 episodes last week because I was out of my element. But we do our Debt Crusher updates. Actually, Debt Crusher is the first Friday of the month. We do that update. We're going to do that. So this month, we're going to be doing an update to that strategy. The gist of it is, as I get certain metrics to certain markers on this debt pay down, I'm going to start allocating more of my check into my income account. Also using the income coming out of that account to take Herculean swings at said debt. So like now we're chunking down the debt also. But this was kind of a kickstart, and she was like, yo, you need to clip some of these smaller positions. That would give you the capital that you need to like jumpstart this to get to your first metric. So that way you can like get this paid down as fast as possible. Now, AI is talking about it's going to take 2 years. It's not going to take 2 years. The problem is there are unknown unknowns for AI. And one of the things that she couldn't pull accurate data on for some reason was Misty's payout schedule. Because like she's factoring in what I have left after managing these debts. And managing these debts, she's like, hey, this is what you most likely have left over based on her calculation of the debt load and like what I would be paying a month to just manage it. And so she's given me like what's left over and basing my ability to pay this debt off solely on that. Even though Misty pays a good chunk of income, and like we're over 1,000 shares now, so like the income's incoming, like we're getting an extra 1,300 to, I'd say, once we get back in the bull run, like we're averaging. So the average for Misty is $2. So now that we're back up in the 20s, we're well into the 20s again. That's going to go up. I've had as high as $4 payouts before we had the hit in the market with the tariff scare and the uncertainty. So we're talking anywhere between, so far the lowest I've gotten was a $1,300 payout so far, because it was like they had one that was like 137. So I'm saying worst I've seen since I've been in this position for almost a year now was $1.30, was 37 or 34, so like $1,300 in all the way up to $4,000 plus at this point, because we're still buying. So we're gonna be taking some chunks out of this debt. We're also getting our spending, reeling that back in, really not buying too much of anything that I don't need. And one of the things that we're going to be doing on the flip side of that Misty income, now that we're getting stuff in order, is we're going to start reallocating to actually get focus back in on buying crypto again. So I've got a few options on that. Like some of the stuff I might grab if I have any nondescripts over on Robinhood. Also, I could just buy Ethereum directly on Robinhood, because that's what that's going to get converted into this year. But one of the plays that I decided was all the side money that I'd been funneling over. So like the house repair money that I haven't cashed out of yet, basically everything that's left on the Cash App account right now is going to get filtered out into currency to pay this debt. The other thing that we're doing is that Lido staked ether that I haven't moved into cold storage yet from last year, like the little bits and pieces that we've been buying to build up that position, gonna get cashed out as Bitcoin. Also, the WBTC that we set aside from last year whenever we were doing our cash outs and we were saving up that extra to put into Bitcoin that we were going to convert over to Lido staked ether, gonna get cashed out to Bitcoin. To kind of, those are the positions that I'm willing to clip at this juncture. We're keeping everything else and we'll reallocate everything else. The stuff that's in cold storage will not be touched, but we're going to look at pulling that out and moving it over into paying that debt down. Now, since we are in that space where after this initial slew, because I didn't just go hit the dump button and dump everything. A dollar cost average in, we dollar cost average out. Now they're bigger dollar cost averages. I was like, yo, I'm going to do 2 or 3 payouts depending on like what this looks like. Fortunately, because I did the first one on Monday and then today comes around and Bitcoin goes up to $93,000. I was like, okay, this is, so you guys are welcome for the dip. It's because I sold. So, or you're welcome for the run up. It's because I sold. So next sell, I mean, we'll be in the 90s and then it'll probably go up to 100. And then hopefully we'll have one more sell in the hundreds. The other thing that I'm considering doing is going ahead and, instead of just paying the debt down, because you guys know how I feel about that, marking a position and then going ahead and throwing it into Misty. So that way we can just start paying the debt down with the income and just get a bigger Misty payment. So that way I kind of have some semblance of that left. Because I tell you what, I sold, I pulled $1,100 out of the Bitcoin for my first sell, and I went ahead and like that's gone. Like it's going into the initial onset of getting this first chunk of the debt down. And I don't like just clipping assets. I mean, the stuff that I sold out of my brokerage, I didn't like that either. But worthy cause. Like we're getting some stuff handled. I'm feeling good about it. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I do want to hit that first metric so that way I can start shifting a little bit more of my check over. But as it sits right now, that's what we're doing. We're sold a little bit of Bitcoin, and it's not because I'm scared or worried about the market or anything like that. It's just when I went through my finances, like rooter to the tutor, AI gave me some tweaks, and it wasn't that I was 100% off mark or that it was just like, hey, this is so much better. It was like, you could do this more efficiently. Also, based on this, since I can't see the Misty income that you're getting, you have X amount of extra income, and these are some tweaks that you could make, and it makes sense. So we're gonna go ahead and make that move, because I figure I want to do as much damage to this debt as I can from all angles within the next 90 days, because our market certainty right now, even in the crypto space, is based over these 90 days. Like, we got a 90-day reprieve from the tariff on again, off again, and it's now isolated to America versus China in their tariff dispute. And I'm going to capitalize on as much of it as possible. If we're going to have some good runs, like, let's go ahead and look at that. I have to figure out, like, I might do 50% of the crypto that we're going to shuffle around and cash out as I'm filtering it out, do 50-50, to where it's like 50% of it we go ahead and just chunk down the debt, and then 50% of it we put over in the brokerage account and get it generating some more income. Also, will help buy down my average on my Misty position, which would be nice. But we'll be talking about that in the portfolio update, because there was some stuff over in the brokerage that got sold off too. So we'll see what it looks like. We'll see what we're going to do with it. But that's going to be the episode. Talk to me down in the comments. How are you guys moving some of these positions around, and what are you using the money for? Because, like, for me, it's either I normally, if I'm selling off assets, it's to move it into either from growth to income. And honestly, once it goes into the income portfolio, the only thing that I would sell it off for is to, like, pay off a debt, but also while not actively running up debt, because you don't want to do that either. That's kind of a bad idea. So we're cleaning up a little bit of mess. Most of that debt is asset backed, but our first metric is going to be cleaning up everything from the surprise medical expense and the surprise car expense. Because I had Achilles surgery and then had to replace a head gasket on a car that I wasn't in a position to get rid of it or trade it in. So I picked up a good chunk of debt on top of the debt that we'd pulled to start these portfolios when I initially hurt myself. And so, like, now, as we're starting to dig that hole out, we're staying the course, staying focused. I'm liking where it's going. Like, I'm seeing the results. Stuff's moving very fast. And yeah, it's just, I don't like selling off assets to pay off debt, to be honest. Like, especially if I can get income and then use the income to pay off the debt. Like, that's such a better space to be in for me and my mental health. Like, it's just, my brain just doesn't like to compute that. Hey, sell this thing off that was growing, and then you go pay it, and now you've secured income. Like that, my brain just doesn't like that logic. It's like, go put this in something that generates money, and then use the money generated to pay it, so that way, after it's all said and done, you still have that nugget. But as the debt gets paid off, the other caveat there is it frees up income, because now I don't have to pay and or manage the debt. So there's also that. So I have a little bit of wiggle room, because after this first slew, we're down to all 0% interest except for my daily expense card. Like, my daily driver is the only thing that I have at that point. There's nothing sitting around anywhere that's actually accruing interest. It's all in 0% states, which is You know, I'm okay with that. So we're gonna have some moves made. We're gonna have a little bit more breathing room, but it's like once a month. It's you got to deal with that. So as we're moving forward through these times, I did have to sell some crypto. I did sell some Bitcoin. It was the Bitcoin that was in the hyper savings. So it's just not necessarily going 100% towards home repairs, but I get to replace and learn how to replace the garbage disposal. So that's getting replaced. So we're making it happen. Thank you guys for rocking out with me and tapping in. Made it this far in the video. Like I said, like the conversations down in the comments, I do reply. Shout outs to those of you who've been talking with me down in the comments. I do appreciate that. I enjoy the conversations. I love talking about money. I love talking about people who are excited and are trying to change their lives and trying to get rich like we are over here in the Wolfpack. So like the more Wolfpack members we have, the more conversations we can have. You guys can start talking to each other down in the comments too, because we're having great conversations. Till next week, make sure you hit that like button. If you've been here more than twice, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification, turn them all on. And most importantly, if you're getting value out of this, share it with your friends and family, because over here in the Wolfpack, we do not want to get rich by ourselves. It's not fun. We want people to party with. Till next week, people, it's your boy Reckless Ray De Niro, and we are out. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.